Lawyers of Reddit, what is a detail that your client failed to bring up to you that completely lost you the case? A friend of mine is a lawyer and he said that a client once turned up to court in the actual same outfit he was wearing in the burglary. When the CCTV footage come up in evidence, the client looked down to himself and was like, oh shit. Edit, my first ever awards, cheers. Your Honor, I'd like to plead coincidence. Edit, thanks for the awards, folks. I will now make this into a comedy sketch. Sounds like reasonable doubt to me. Defendant Chip, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't know that I couldn't do that. Judge, well now you do. Just get out of here. Get the fuck out of here, case dismissed. Unfair dismissal case. The client claimed to have been dismissed without reason or following procedure. After we had started the case, it comes out that not only was he given 3 written warnings but he was also called in for a disciplinary hearing before his dismissal. Don't lie to your lawyer. Similar to a doctor, I feel like not telling your lawyer everything can just hurt you. The only reason I can see anyone having a valid reason for lying to a doctor is if they have someone in the room, the patient, who they can't tell the truth to. For example, sex. If I was at the doctor's with my family present, any one of them, and a doctor asked me, I'd say no. Not because I want to lie, but because my family are extreme Christians and sex before marriage is the worst thing to them. Thankfully I can drive and am extremely unlikely to ever be in this situation. Edit, replies are 90%, insurance blah blah, I'm not even from US so this doesn't account for anything, and the doctor will ask them to step out, yes maybe a competent doctor, but many won't. I once got asked if I was sexually active in front of my mom. She was sitting behind me so I shook my head but whipped my eyes up and down. She just nodded and said I see and checked the box. Lucky it was on the screen also facing away from my mom. Edit, it has come to my attention that some of you think I'm a girl. No, my mom is just really weird about this stuff. Not draconian or anything, just makes you want to blip out of existence. Not a lawyer yet, but I clerked for a DOS office throughout law school. Obviously we don't have clients, but I'll never forget this kidnapping case I worked on. It involved 2 Asian male defendants who were both the same age and looked relatively similar. Witness is on the stand and is asked to identify where the defendant who pushed an Uzi into his face is seated. It's clear the witnesses is having trouble differentiating the defendants. In a true moment of brilliance, one defendant raises his fucking hand and basically points to himself like right here bud. Hands down the dumbest shit I'd ever seen. I thought his defense attorney was going to have a brain aneurysm. I'm still a law student and this happened during my first internship at a court. A girl among other people was charged with drug possession but because she had thrown away the drugs and the police couldn't prove that she bought or owned the drugs, BC it could have been one of the other people as well who still had drugs on them. The judge ruled in dubio pro reo. He then asked if she wants to say/add something and this girl asked if she can get her drugs back. The defense attorney looked like he was about to get a heart attack. Edit, for those wondering I know what in dubio pro reo means but I wasn't sure if they use the term in other countries and tried to explain it if not. This happened in Germany. I really don't want to believe anyone is that stupid. Sadly yes. I've heard of people calling the police for getting ripped off in their meth purchase. Retired cop, I've worked those calls. They do happen, and it's not a one-off thing. When someone is extremely angry, knows exactly who ripped them off, but are real dodgy about what they sold the person/tried to buy it's real clear. Others just flat out tell you man, I know I shouldn't have been buying crack but he ripped me off. What exactly do you do in that situation? Do you have to arrest the person or do you just tell them they are shit out of luck? Genuinely curious. I am actually a lawyer, but I was only watching this trial, not participating. So the case was, that woman A had hit woman B in the head with a heavy beer pint at a bar, and woman B got pretty serious injuries. The defense claimed that woman A had not hit anyone with the pint, but instead had just thrown the pint into a random direction, and it happened to hit B in the head, thus it was an accident and not a battery. Well, the prosecution had a CCTV tape from the bar, and it was shown at the trial. And the tape clearly showed in HD as A walked behind B, and smashed the pint to her head so hard that the pint shattered on impact. I looked at the defense lawyer and his jaw literally almost hit the table. The prosecutor also noticed this and asked something along, thrown, at. And the defense lawyer said that due to technical difficulties he couldn't get the CCTV tape open on his computer when he was reviewing the evidence. Woman A was found guilty. So yeah, I was completely dumbfounded. A defendant was written a cell phone ticket while driving and defended himself. Your Honor, I was not using a smartphone while driving. I was actually using a flip phone. Guilty. So as a technicality, if it stated on the ticket that he was using a smartphone and he was able to prove he didn't own a smartphone, without saying he was using one at the time, would that get him off? Edit. My intention with this would be hoping the defendant wouldn't be dumb enough to then say it is this instead, but rather just say no, I do not own a smartphone, so I could not have been operating one while driving, a truthful and whole statement under oath. I'd assume any good lawyer would then press for further details and have it collapse, but I'm also spending my evening on Reddit, so what do I know? Likely not. People like to think that typos or glitches on a ticket mean they get off, but the justice system doesn't work that way. The court is asking, the law says don't do X. Did you do X? The fact that the ticket might say something incorrect could make it harder to prove you did X, but it's not that hard to say oops in a hurry after the stop, I wrote that detail down wrong, but I can still swear under oath they definitely did X. I know you probably meant oath, but I really like swear under oath. It's like what someone would say if they were being sworn into Starfleet. I'm a public defender in an area with lots of meth use. Meth makes most people talk. A lot. So I can't tell you how many clients forget to mention that they got to the jail still high and called their mom/girlfriend/buddy on the recorded jail phone and not only confessed to the crime, but also brainstormed whatever alibi or version of events I'm relying on to defend them. Edit. I'm seeing this question a lot, so I'll add some info here. This island. Not legal advice. Just explaining things a bit more. Calls to a lawyer are privileged, and generally go through dedicated lines that aren't recorded, depending on the facility. Calls to family, friends, etc. through the normal phones are not privileged, are generally recorded, and can be used in court. There are usually printed signs near the phones and a recorded warning before each call that this is the case. I was in court once for a school journalism project, and there was a woman in court who had been arrested for weed and crack possession when she came to bail out her boyfriend from a separate arrest. Apparently he called her from jail and told her to come bail her out and to bring some weed and crack. The guard overheard him and it was recorded on the jail phone, so they arrested her when she showed up.